So today we're going to talk about sectional timing secrets, the UK versus Ireland, hidden eye catchers, and why big handicaps are where sectionals really matter. So why have you been watching the wrong part of races? Let me paint you a picture. You're watching a race replay, the winner comes clear inside the final furlong, wins by 3 lengths, and the commentator says, "That was impressive." The market agrees, the price shortens next time, social media clips the finish, but here's the uncomfortable question. What if the winner wasn't impressive at all? What if the horse behind, the one that finished 5th, beaten 4 lengths, actually ran the best race? Because in modern racing, in the UK and Ireland, where a horse finishes is often less important than how it got there. And that's where sectional timing comes in. Not as a gimmick, not as a spreadsheet obsession, but as a way to see what the naked eye and the betting market routinely misses. Today we're going to talk about the real difference between UK and Irish sectional timing, why finishing speed percentages are misunderstood, how to spot hidden eye catchers in both strongly and weakly run races, and why sectional data becomes exponentially more powerful in big handicaps. By the end of this episode, you'll never look at a race finish the same way again. So what sectional timing is and also what it isn't. Let's start by clearing something up. Sectional timing is not about turning racing into maths homework. It's not about memorising decimals, and it's not about declaring this horse ran the fastest final furlong, so it must be good. That's lazy thinking. Sectional timing is about context. It tells you how fast a race was run early, where energy was used, who benefited from pace, and who ran against it. In other words, sectionals don't replace form, they explain it. So, UK versus Ireland, why the data tells us different stories. One of the biggest mistakes punters make is assuming sectional data behaves the same everywhere. It doesn't. UK racing is fragmented and tactical, especially on the flat. Many races are unevenly run, pace collapses are common, jockeys ride not to lose rather than to maximise speed, and this creates races where finishing speeds look artificially impressive, winners often sprint off slowly early, closers look better than they really are. The data reflects that. High finishing speed percentages are common in UK racing, but often misleading. In Irish run racing, they're often truer run races. Irish racing is different. More often than not, you'll see stronger early fractions, more honest gallops, less false pace. This means lower finishing percentages, less dramatic visual finishes, and more emphasis on sustained effort. An Irish race that looks less spectacular can actually be a much stronger test, and that difference matters. So what about finishing speed percentages? It's often the most misunderstood metric in racing. Let's tackle the big one, finishing speed percentages. On paper, it sounds simple. How fast the horse ran at the end of the race compared to the overall speed. But here's the key. High finishing speed does not automatically equal strong performance. In fact, very often it means the opposite. Weakly run races create fast finishes. If you imagine a race where the early pace is slow, the field bunches up, everyone has some energy left, what happens? Well, the last 2 furlongs are run very fast, finishing speed spike. But who benefits? Horses in the front rank, horses with a turn of foot, horses with perhaps tactical position, not necessarily always the best horses, just the ones best suited to that shape. In strongly run races, they often suppress finishing speed. If we flip it, in a strongly run race, energy is spent early. The field strings out. Horses are under pressure a long way out from home, and finishing speeds drop, but performances often improve. These are the races that produce future winners, handicap droppers, horses that the market underestimates, because visually they don't sparkle. So spotting hidden eye catchers in a strongly run race. This is where sectional timing becomes lethal in a good way. In a strongly run race, ask yourself, who didn't collapse? Who kept going when others cried enough? Who ran an even final 3 furlongs despite pressure? These horses rarely win the race, but they often win next time out, especially when they drop into slightly weaker company, smaller fields, or more suitable pace setups. The market sees finishing position, sectionals reveal resilience. So what about hidden eye catchers in a weekly run race? And yes, they do exist too. This is where it gets subtle. Weekly run races aren't useless. You just need to read them properly. In a slow race with a sprint finish, look for horses that were trapped out wide, lost position mid-race, were forced to make a move before the sprint. These horses often record lower finishing speeds, worse finishing positions, but higher energy expenditure. They ran the hard race so others could look flashy. That's the classic setup for a betting blind spot. So why sectionals matter more in big handicaps? Now let's talk about where all of this really comes together. Big handicaps. 16 runners, 20 runners, compressed ratings, chaos on the surface. This is where most punters give up, and that's exactly why sectionals matter more here than anywhere else. Big handicaps expose pace illusions. In large fields, pace is harder to judge. Traffic is unavoidable. Positioning becomes critical. A horse finishing midfield in a big handicap might have covered more ground, run into pace pressure, been forced to move early. Sectionals let you strip away the noise. They tell you who ran efficiently, who ran wastefully, who will benefit if conditions shift even slightly. The market overvalues the obvious. In big handicaps, the market loves eye-catching winners, horses that finish fast from the front, visually clean runs, but these are often the least repeatable performances. Sectionals help you identify horses whose runs are upgradable, horses who didn't get the right setup, horses the handicapper can't fully punish. That's where value lives. So sectionals and favourite vulnerability. Let's bring this back to something practical. Short price favourites. How often do you see a favourite win a slowly run race, clock a big finishing speed, get talked up as improving, only to disappoint next time out? Very often. Why? Because that performance was pace dependent, not ability driven. Sectionals help you identify when a favourite benefited from soft fractions, had everything go its way, is unlikely to get the same setup again. These are classic red flag scenarios. So why most punters misuse sectional data? This is a harsh truth. Most punters who use sectional data look at the wrong numbers, ask the wrong questions, draw the wrong conclusions. They treat it like a ranking system. Fast equals good, slow equals bad. That's not analysis. That's just another shortcut. Real value comes from asking, why was it fast? Why was it slow? Who paid the energy cost? So how do sectionals fit into a logical betting framework? Sectional timing is reminding you of something fundamental. Racing is about energy distribution. Every horse has a limited tank. The best performances are the ones where energy use matches race demands, effort is sustainable, and conditions don't exaggerate strengths or hide weaknesses. When sectionals and form line up, confidence grow. When they conflict, you've found something worth investigating. So what about the red flag method and sectional warning signs? This is where everything ties back to the red flag method. The red flag method exists to stop you backing vulnerable favourites, overhyped performances, horses whose form is misleading. Sectional data is one of the best ways to spot red flags like inflated finishing speeds in slow races, favourites reliant on perfect pace setups, horses stepping into big handicaps off visually flattering runs. You don't need to become a data scientist. You just need a framework that tells you this looks solid, but here's why it might not be. That's what red flags do. Don't forget to download the red flag method from the description below. So seeing races differently. Once you understand sectionals, you stop asking who won and start asking who ran the race that will translate next time. That shift changes everything. It makes racing calmer, more logical, less emotional, and it moves you closer to how professionals think. Because the market reacts to visuals, but money is made by understanding what those visuals are hiding. I hope you found this useful, and there'll be another one next week. So as always, until then, win quietly.